All right, the drift towards low performance. This is something that is covered in Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows. I'm going to reference this book in a lot of videos because thinking in systems and understanding systems thinking is just a really big game changer for training, managing pain, being a clinician or a coach, just understanding how complex systems are and how to also just create simplicity inside those complex systems is really, really powerful. So the drift towards low performance is essentially a concept that is really, really hard to manage, especially with the bigger systems get. Eventually, mediocrity just becomes the norm. And then when mediocrity becomes the norm, then basically we even drift further down to low performance. I was kind of thinking about the WALL-E archetype, like the people who are floating around in the spaceship with, low physical capacity. That is the drift towards low performance in Hollywood. In pain management, unfortunately, if you just believe that like you can just rest an injury, that might not be the whole story. It doesn't mean that rest is bad. It means there has to be basically a calming down of whatever we're dealing with and a building up of ourselves to be able to handle the activities we're trying to pursue and ultimately tolerate and maybe adapt to or perform more of, right? So just think about like having standards is important for humans. Like if we just continuously lower our standards for what we're capable of or what we're trying to accomplish or what our goals are, we tend to just kind of shrink down and become less and less capable, confident, and ultimately we just are not as fulfilled and purposeful. And that's something that maybe is both a mindset thing, but it's also just the reality of how easy it is to just accept less and less out of ourselves and maybe what we're capable of. And this does not mean that we do not make, grace for ourselves or that we don't basically treat ourselves with kindness, but part of kindness is being accepting of reality and noting that if we want to get better, we often have to try hard. We have to get more things in order. We have to get organized. We have to learn. And we ultimately have to set standards that don't allow us to drift towards low performance. And when we do start to see that drift towards low performance, we have to make course corrections. And that is one of the big things that can help you with training and rehab is just learning to make better course corrections that don't drift you downwards. They help you at least stay at a certain level. And if you are going to hit that level, then you make a course correction and you move back towards better performance or the outcome you want, or just managing pain or performing, in a way that you can feel good about. So watch out for the drift towards low performance. That's ultimately a big part of this, is just being aware of some of these things so that you can start to course correct. Awareness is usually the first step in actually making productive change. That's all I got for today. Peace.